Potions!
Potions!
Yay, we're over dramatic.
That was underdramatic compared to the last take we did.
Yeah, we just did a take, but...
I forgot I wasn't actually recording the video, so that was silly.
Yeah.
And also, the playback volume was quite high on the video, so it was picking up on the voice feed.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get used to it.
Yeah. Eventually.
This setup should work. This setup should be just fine.
So we're pretty much where we left off, but you can notice slightly different in the hearts.
Yeah, I think actually we had 4.5 hearts at the end of the last episode, and now we magically have 5.
Yeah.
That's because I saved the game, and since I saved the game, that counts as a death. So we've had to run all the way back here, and I picked up a couple of hearts on the way. But apart from that, we're where we were, and nothing's changed. I don't think I picked up any rupees on the way, so everything's exactly as it was.
We're going to the first dungeon today, right, Con?
We're going to do the first dungeon, and if we got time, we're going to do the second one as well.
We haven't actually pre-recorded this now, so we are actually playing today.
Yeah, so if I say left, I'm going to go left, and if I say right, I'm going to get hit by a Tektite. That wasn't a Tektite, that was an Octorock.
Yeah.
I don't know why I called it a Tektite.
So, if we have enough time, we'll probably do the second dungeon as well.
Probably. We'll see. We'll see how many we can fit into, say, 15 minutes or so. We'll try not to get carried away. There's a clock on my wall, by the way.
Yeah. We'll play until about 1:45.
About 1:45. Yeah. So, on the way to the first dungeon.
Oh, it's that guy's house.
It is. It's the old man's house from there.
I wonder if he's still there. Let's go check if he's still there.
He is definitely still there. I think he's still there. I'm not sure, actually.
Let's go
I've
check.
never gone back into the old man's houses.
It'll be cool if they're still there.
Okay, out of curiosity. I think it's going to be completely empty. That's what I imagine. See, his fire is still there, but he's not still here.
Fire. Anyway, unicorns and jazz. We're going to the first dungeon now.
The first dungeon, yep, it's just up here. There's a little bridge, and we cross over it. And we get hit by more not Tektites.
Yay.
The first dungeon is inside a giant tree.
We like giant trees, don't we, folks?
There's a cool little, quite well-known glitch that you can do here. So there's a locked door just in front of us. But if you leave the dungeon and go straight back into the dungeon, then for no apparent reason, the locked door it's been destroyed by the game.
Do you want to go get the maps and compasses and stuff anyway?
I'm not sure why that happens, but it's quite cool that it does happen because all of the keys in this game, they're interchangeable between dungeons. So the more spare keys you can pick up, the better. Like I was doing a practice playthrough last week, and by the time I got to like the last but one dungeon, I think I had about 10 spare keys.
That's cool.
There's lots of bombable walls in the game, and that lets you bypass keys as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're not picking up maps and compasses, then you're saving on keys as well. But you know, if I come across any, then I'll pick them up. Obviously, I'm not going to go out of my way to pick up the maps and compasses of every dungeon. But
that would just be silly.
Well, you know, if they're on the way to the boss, then why not? But if they're not, then...
What are those statues? They're in every dungeon, but I don't know what they are.
In the Oracle games, they're really cool because the eyes follow you, which is kind of creepy on the statues.
Really?
And yeah, they're in the start of... They're in pretty much every starting dungeon room for no real reason.
Cool.
So because of all of the bomb walls that I mentioned, which let you sort of bypass certain rooms and stuff, it's and the fact that you don't need to use a lot of the dungeon items to actually traverse the dungeons. A lot of the dungeon items are just used in the overworld.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to miss dungeon items compared to the modern Zeldas, definitely. Like the dungeon items don't necessarily relate to the dungeon itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Apart from, there are a couple of exceptions, like
the ladder's in the fourth one.
The step ladder, I think it's in the fourth one, and also the recorder in the fifth dungeon. That's not actually used in the dungeon itself, but it is used to defeat the boss of the dungeon, so you can't leave the dungeon without it. So this is one of the skips.
Ooh, Bombable.
So I think we'll end this this dungeon with 3 keys, which is good. We'll pick up quite a few keys in level 2 as well, because level 2
Is
The
that
boomerang! Yeah, you have to defeat the Gorias to get it.
Alright.
Level 2, there are 4 keys in that dungeon, but there's so many bomb walls I don't think you actually have to use a key. So that's great. So we're heading up to this top left room here, because we're going to make sure we pick up the item of this dungeon before we leave. The boomerang.
What's the item?
The boomerang is one of the items, but this is one of the few dungeons that actually has 2 items.
What is the item?
I can't think. It might be the bow. It might be the bow.
Maybe.
The bow in this game is really weird because...
You basically just like fire in repeat use.
well, that, for one, but 2, you can't use it when you pick it up. You have to buy an arrow from the shop before you're allowed to start using it. So I like to imagine that the arrow is actually like a quiver or something. That seems to make far more sense.
Yeah.
You're not buying the arrow per se, you're buying a quiver to store your arrows in.
Cool.
So yeah, that's the bow.
Yeah.
But like I said, we can't use it yet, but better to have it. I actually very rarely use a bow in the original Zelda.
No?
Like, my sword and my magical boomerang, between the 2 of them, they do the job.
Yeah.
Bombs. I use bombs a lot.
That is home.
I think you can kill the boss of this dungeon with just 2 bombs. That's probably the easiest way to take him down.
That's cool. Just like
It's not really like a modern dungeon, is it? It's not like the modern Zelda dungeons. It's more, it feels to me a little bit like you're going through like a Minecraft stronghold, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Definitely before you pick up the map and the compass, you're sort of
Yeah.
exploring kind of aimlessly. You don't really know where you're going. You don't really know where the end
And there's a
portal
load
room
of
is.
horrible monsters as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of horrible monsters. Whereas in modern Zelda titles, there's always a clear set path through the dungeon. You know where you've got to go, even if you're not quite sure how to get there.
Yeah.
You have a fair idea of what you're trying to do. It's actually quite refreshing if you go from like a later Zelda to an earlier Zelda. Though I quite like both ways of designing the dungeons, but this is.
You
quite
designed
fun.
a dungeon similar to this in Third Quest.
Yeah. I made
Your game
a
Third
dungeon
Quest.
designer. I recreated level 1 because it's
Why
quite
not?
simple compared to the other dungeons.
Yay,
that's
first
Aquamentus
one.
done. They sort of recreated that dungeon in, I think it was Oracle of Seasons, which was really cool. There was a bridge all the way across to like this lake and the island on the lake, and then the dungeon itself was called the Gnarl's Tree Dungeon, and it was inside a tree. And they even recreated the boss Aquamentus, so they gave him some extra attacks to make him harder, because he was kind of a pushover there.
Yeah.
Oracle of Seasons, I'm pretty sure it started off as a straight remake of this game,
Yeah.
but they changed it as they developed it.
That's
So
cool.
there's a few obvious pointers towards the fact that it started off as a straight remake, such as that first dungeon.
Yeah. I find that
I
quite
don't
cool.
like these.
Llamas.
I don't like the way they pop up straight in front of you. Like, there's no warning about it at all.
No.
Like, these guys, they're fast and annoying, but you know where they are. You always know where they
Yeah.
are. And
With the other guys, that you can kind of see the dirt path,
you
so
can,
it's okay.
but the red ones particularly, I'm not quite sure where the second dungeon is. It's in here somewhere.
We've only got 5
um,
minutes, friends.
The red levers particularly, they appear straight away as you kill the one before.
Really?
Yeah. And that's quite annoying. They sort of pop out the ground right in front of you just as you've killed one of their friends.
Oh, they're just like an evil dude.
Yeah. I know that
I'm
the
gonna
second
kill you
dungeon
now.
is in this forest somewhere.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out
Yeah.
for a staircase in this forest.
Bless you. We put this off at first because Connor was really sniffly and
Yeah, we were going to do this morning. And,
yeah. It's nearly quarter
It's,
to 6 now. So
quite definitely the evening now.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm just gonna wander this forest aimlessly until we hopefully come across something that I recognise. And whey, staircase.
Yay.
That wasn't too hard. I always have trouble finding dungeon 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of the other dungeons, I pretty much know where they are.
Oh, this one looks awesome compared to the other one.
Yeah, it's guarded by statues. If you get quite close to one of those statues, they come to life and start chasing you.
There's a purple weirdly, but purple.
So this is, I think it's called the Moon Dungeon. The first dungeon I think is called the Eagle Dungeon, and this is full of ropes, which are snakes that sort of chase after you.
No, ropes are made out of trees.
Not Zelda ropes. And like I said, this is a cool one because you can pick up a lot of keys. Like there's, I think it's this one anyway. I think it's this one. You can pick up a lot of keys. You can sort of make your way all the way up the one side of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Using bomb walls.
I smell garlic bread.
I'm not sure if I'm doing it right actually, because I'm sure I have to be further right than this in order to do it. But I haven't used the key yet, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I know that definitely the room where you get the magical boomerang is on the right. Ah, there we go. There's the way through. More ropes. These guys are not too bad because they tend to be quite nice with their drops. Like literally, well, most of the ropes in that room drop something. Like all but one of them drop something. So.
You're still flashing. Why are you flashing?
If you pick up a clock, all of the enemies freeze and you start flashing. Right, this is the room where you get the magical boomerang. So there were Gorias, which are the boomerang throwing things in the previous dungeon.
They
but
just dropped
this
boomerang.
time they're bonus ones. They're like they're the upgraded versions.
What does magical boomerang do?
You can throw it further than you can the regular boomerang.
Alright.
I hope I don't die.
You did. Why does everything like turn orange when you're dead? Do your eyes just like transform and you're like orange?
I don't really know.
It's quite cool with this one because it's purple and orange, which is like Halloween colours.
It's quite a nice looking dungeon.
Yeah.
So you've got the regular boomerang. You can't throw it very far, and none of the boomerangs damage. Well, actually, they can kill keys, but they don't damage anything else. They just stun. So like they stun the ropes there. Look. But it's helpful to have a long-range stun attack, and the magical boomerang goes even further. It goes all the way across the screen.
Yeah.
So that's quite handy. Especially there's a few later dungeons where the rooms are literally full of keys. It's okay. We'll keep it running a little bit longer. It's not a very long dungeon, so we might as well just keep going.
Dungeons quite fast in this one, aren't they? They're just like rushed. Like,
well, some of them.
in the modern ones, you can just go like hours and
yeah, you can probably get lost in some of the dungeons. But like the first 4 dungeons, they're sort of they're more tutorially in this one. Like dungeon 5 is where it really starts to step it up.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, I'm going to get killed in this room again. Which is going to completely disprove my point.
Yeah.
Right, what we'll do this time, we've got a battle plan. We're going to stay in the rooms with the ropes until we've earned a lot of hearts. We're not going to go into that room with the Gorias until we're almost full health.
Sounds like a plan.
It does.
We have to finish this next episode or something.
Yeah, maybe. I'll grab the magical boomerang and then we'll quit out, is it?
Yeah.
And we'll carry on next time.
Yeah. It'll be easier once you've got that as well.
Okay, so that's a net gain of 0 hearts in that room. I lost a heart and I gained a heart.
You have a really comfy like cushion. It's like a triangle like cheese piece.
Thank you.
Oh, awkward silence.
That was weird. Did you see that? Like, all of the Gorias disappeared as I attacked that one. He was like the boss Goria or something.
Wow. I didn't even notice.
That was really cool. There's like ghosts. I think they're called genies in a graveyard on the overworld, and they do a similar thing.
That one just dropped something in the middle or something. It didn't look like a repeat.
One of them dropped a heart.
No, it looked like a bow or something. I know you've already got a bow, but it looked like a bow.
Oh, well, that was good. There we go. Ah, that was too easy. There we go.
You say while dying.
So yeah, if we just bomb this wall. I'm getting carried away now.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to get to the bottom here. You just keep bombing walls.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Right, there's not much guarding the boss. There is one room just before the boss, which is a little bit more difficult. Dodongo dislikes smoke. Basically,
Why is this
you feed the boss 2 bombs to kill him, but the hint is actually quite clever, because if you explode a bomb in front of his face, it gives off smoke, and that stuns him, and it makes him vulnerable to attack.
Yeah.
So you can kill him with only 1 bomb if you do that, and I'm pretty sure he drops bombs as an item if you kill him that way as well. So you get a net gain of bombs.
Oh, that's cool.
It's difficult to get the timing right on it, and I might not manage it, but...
Who's the boss in this one?
Dodongo, like the old man said.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure he always gives hints on the current boss.
Yeah.
Like, he does give overworld hints as well. But whenever he gives boss hints, it's the current boss. So this is Dodongo, and we're either going to feed him 2 bombs, or we're going to stun him with a bomb and kill him with a sword.
I would have called him Terry.
Depending on the timing.
He looks like a Terry.
He could be a Terry.
Terry!
There we go, we stunned him.
Terry!
And we killed him with a sword. Brilliant.
The leg of time.
There's a Dodongo called Dimitri in the Oracle series, and he's the only friendly Dodongo to turn up in like the entire series.
Cool.
There we go. We got the second
Yay,
piece.
Triforce. Tasty.
And we'll probably leave it there for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you tomorrow, maybe.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe
Yeah.
tomorrow. We'll see.
Bye.
Bye.